Hello everyone, I'm excited to present to you TigerGraphCLI or TGCLI. It is a command line interface for interacting with TigerGraph servers that makes it a lot easier to insert, view, or even delete data from your TigerGraph databases. As you can see, when you install TGCLI, you can enter the command in whatever command prompt you use. We're going to start off with some simple configuration commands. We can use TGCLI config list to view all the configurations. Each configuration corresponds to a single server with a single set of credentials. We can go ahead and use config delete to delete the current configuration that we have. And now we're going to go ahead and add a configuration. This is completely interactive, so we're able to enter the server address, client version. We can override some ports, enter a username and password for authentication. Once we've added the configuration, we can go ahead and hit list again, and you can see that the new configuration name is now live and able to be used with TGCLI. We can go ahead and then also use the config describe command. This will print out all the entered values for the particular configuration. The most basic functionality that this gives you is the ability to run GSQL commands against a configuration. You can see that we can enter an inline command such as ls and have TGCLI execute it for you and print out the output. Further, we can also run GSQL commands either from a file, so if you have a GSQL file or you have something that you want to enter into an interactive editor, we can go ahead and do that as well. Now let's use TGCLI to load some data. We can go ahead and load some vertices into a pre-configured graph. We're going with the GSQL 101 demo project that we can set up on the cloud. We can use TGCLI load vertices to load some vertices into our new configuration. We've already configured the graph social. Now we can provide a vertex type, the column name for the vertex ID, and either provide a file in the form of CSV in a pickle file or as a JSON document. Now you see that once we execute this, we have a success message saying that 7 vertices are now added. Now going ahead with GSQL 101 demo, we can also start loading edges. Again, we specify the graph name as social. We give all the required parameters, and in the case where we're missing a parameter, in this case edge type, we do have an interactive console that will ask for it. Now you can see that as we go ahead and execute the command, we have the successful loading of 7 edges. Now once we've loaded data, let's go ahead and retrieve some of that data. We can go ahead and use TGCLI get vertices and give it the required parameters. There's also a few optional options, such as limiting the number of items that comes back or a particular filter or sorting that we can also specify when we run the command. We can also get edges in the same way. Again, we do give the required parameters, and you see that we do have loaded edges that we're able to retrieve from our TigerGraph server. The last main functionality is the ability to delete data from the graph. We can go ahead and delete some edges that we filter by ID and by type. We see that 2 friendship edges have been deleted. Now, if we get those edges that correspond to the edges that we've deleted, we see that there are no edges that come back. We can do the same for vertices. You can see that Nancy currently exists, but once we delete that vertex, you can see that with the query for Nancy as an ID, that nothing comes back. We actually get an error from the underlying TigerGraph library. This project is still in its infancy, but I hope that this will make a lot of TigerGraph developers' lives a lot easier. I do compare this to kubectl for Kubernetes. I'd love to continue working on this project to help enable developers for TigerGraph to have a smoother development experience. Thank you.